Here, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So, this is going to be a really quick, I'll try to keep it really quick, breakdown of a recruit in CFB. So, we're currently in week 12, maybe week 13. Not 100% sure. It's one of those two. We just advanced. And this is one of the players that I'm in a nice little battle for, right? And this recruitment is one of those slower recruitments. It took this guy forever to get out of top 8. I didn't really press him until he got to his, his top 8 stage, because while he's open, I don't need to press the issue. If not a lot of people were recruiting him or not just putting any hours into him, as you can see right here on his influence bars. While there's not a lot of people pursuing him or putting a lot of hours into him, there's no need to, keep your foot on the gas for a player that you absolutely positively don't need. Now this guy is more of a luxury pickup for me, but he is a player that I want nonetheless. And I also don't want him to go to Michigan, right? Because if he goes to Michigan and I have to play Michigan, then I have to play against this player. You know what I'm saying? If he goes to the other teams on his top 5 list, like Oklahoma, I might have to play Oklahoma, and this guy might pancake my D-line, right? I don't want that to happen because this guy is actually pretty decent. He's not the greatest player in the world. He doesn't have all of the abilities, but if you look at his attributes, for what I'm looking for in the offensive lineman, he checks those boxes, right? That 80 acceleration, that means he's going to be closer. He's really close to getting quick drop. You know, if I would move this guy to right tackle, which I likely would in my situation, right tackle or left tackle, he would be close to hitting that that quick drop ability, right? Or that threshold. Impact blocking. He's one impact block rating away from being able to get the second level ability unlocked. You know, having 79 pass block power, 81 run block power, those are great attributes. 89 strength, great attribute. So with this player, we're gonna take and go to his recruiting, and we'll see exactly what we did. So like I said, this is a slower recruiting process. I didn't really put any hours into him until I saw that, okay, other schools are getting into the mix. A bigger school like Michigan is getting into the mix. So as you can see right here, if you look at the influence bar for Michigan and for Notre Dame, I'm Notre Dame, by the way, you can see that we're gaining about the same amount of influence per week, right? If you were to, take a ruler and measure it, it would be just about the same. So what that tells me is that Michigan is also sending 65 hours at this guy, right? If you look at the influence bar from Oklahoma, you can see that they are not sending 65 hours on this guy. They might be sending 25 hours, maybe 15 or something like that. Same thing with Oregon State. So that's how you can gauge how much the other teams in his top 5 or in his top 8 are investing into this player, just by looking at those influence bars. So what that tells me is I need to do something with this player that's going to gain more influence and put me ahead of Michigan, right? So if we go to the recruiting tab, which is R1, we go over here. We just unlocked his 2 of his motivations, his interests, right? That's going to be all the way on the far right, athletic facilities as well as brand exposure. So we have 2 of those greens. We need 3 greens to have the perfect pitch. If we send them the perfect pitch, that increases the influence that we gain. So if we're just sitting in the house, we're trying to learn about the player, right? So we spend our 50 hours, we're learning about the player. We're trying to learn what his interests, his top 3 interests are. So now that we've learned 2 of them, we can try to figure out the 3rd by the process of elimination. Now you have a lot of these bars that are grayed out, so I'll show y'all the process for that. The other way that we can gain influence is sending this guy on a visit, and we're on a bye week, so it's not going to be too crazy. But I'll show you another trick to gain more influence with that later in this video. But the first thing we want to do is we want to get off of the send the house, which is gaining us 5 bars, which is cool. But if we take a look at let's just say somebody else who I have a hard sell on. If we take a look at this guy here, he's getting 6 bars. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at the bottom of the middle of the screen of his player card here, you see pitch results, pitch Sunday bound. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green arrows, and then a gray arrow under it. That's essentially 6, right? So we're gaining more bars for spending less hours for this recruit, right? And it definitely helps that we have the perfect pitch for this guy is an A rating and 2 A pluses. That is, like, you know, by far one of the best things you can get. The best thing is obviously 3 A pluses, but obviously, you know, this is not bad, right? And this guy's close to committing. We're in a battle with Michigan and Utah. Utah has a visit on for this week, but that visit is not gonna gain all those bars that we have before we can hit the end of our bar. You know what I'm saying? If you look at how much influence we're gaining, that little grayed out blue bar here on the right side of this, that's gonna fill up before Utah could ever catch us with that visit, right? So let's get back to this right guard, Randy Nunn. So we want to take the send the house off. We want to try to get 6. We want to try to get 6 influence bars, influence cones, or whatever, right? So we want to go to add action. We want to go down here to hard sell. We're going to try to match this thing up. So what I do is I just go from right to left on here, and I'm trying to see which 2 are going to be athletic facilities and brand exposure. And I'm just going through. Boom. So there's one right here, workhorse, which it's athletic facilities, brand exposure, and pro potential, right? So that is a possibility that is his perfect pitch. Now, what I'd never just stop there on the first one I see. I want to see if there's more, if there's another one, and there's not. So we know for a fact that this is his perfect pitch, and I'll go through and double check. But there's no other, I guess, pitch that has both athletic facilities and brand exposure, right? So because it's those 2, we already know that this is the only one that it is. It's the only one that it could be, because the perfect pitch is going to be all greens, right? So boom, we get this here. Now if we look at it, we got an A plus and 2 A ratings. That is going to get us that, you know, 6. That's going to get us those 6 green influence cones, right? So now with that, we can take this 10 off, we can take this 5 off, and because we have 65 points instead of the standard 50, we can add contact friends and family, which is going to get us another 3 influence bars, right? So boom. So now we got a potential of earning 6 bars here and 3 bars here. So that's a total of 9. If we take a look at what we had before, I'll just put it back to how it was. We're getting 9 bars for 65 points, and it was send the house, DM player, and search social media. Now these things are more like feelers, like you know, like just to learn about the player. That hard sell carries more weight than these actions do. So if right here it says we're going to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're not getting 10 potentially. Like you're not getting 10 bars essentially. You know what I'm saying? But when we do this hard sell here, like I said, hard sells carry more weight than send in the house. That's just the fact. It was in the last patch. It tells you all about it. So we're going to put this hard sell on again. Boom. Come back to add action, and then contact friends and family. Now, we know for a fact that this hard sell plus this right here is going to get us more influence than Michigan is currently getting, right? So if we really want to hit him in the head, we're going to take and we're going to schedule him a visit. We have 240 hours to use. So we're going to go ahead and schedule this visit for week 13, even though it is a bye week, which sucks. But we're going to schedule him a visit, all right? His deal breaker is brand exposure. So we can go ahead and do that. We can, you know, his deal breaker is an A rating for our school. As you can see right here on the far right, you got the check mark for green, the green check mark for brand exposure, and all the way to the right of that is a green A rating. So we're going to go ahead and get him in for a podcast interview when he comes to the school for this visit on week 14. So we got that done. We're going to be gaining the maximum amount of XP we can, or just about the maximum amount of XP that we can, or influence. And we got a visit scheduled. So we should be good, right? We should be good. Now, how can we increase the likelihood of Buddy coming to our team, right? So we've got a hard sell on him, which increases our influence. We've got a scheduled visit, which is going to increase our influence. The last possible thing that we can do, not possible thing, but the last thing we're going to do in this scenario is we're going to find another player at his position that we can send on a visit, right? Or, you know, like an offensive lineman that we can send on a visit. We don't have any tackles. We do have centers. All right, great. So we could, I mean, I would say Webb, but Webb is literally about to sign. There's no way that Texas catches us. And their visit week just passed, and you can see how much influence they gained. He wasted his 40 hours. He wasted his 40, and I'm not going to waste 40 in that scenario. I could waste it here. So let me go ahead and, because Monty Garland isn't the greatest player, but he's a top 100 player. You can see that he's rated the 93rd overall player in the nation. And we're obviously in a battle with Purdue, which is a CPU team. And they have a visit on for week 14, so we're going to go ahead and here, we're going to schedule Buddy for a weekly visit for a week 13 visit. Now, if you look at the player card here, go all the way to the right where it says week 13 details, and you can see complimentary visits. Right guard Randy Nunn. So now that we have Randy Nunn, who is a right guard, coming in for a visit, we can increase both Randy's influence bar and Monty Garland's influence bar by having them on a visit on the same week because they play a similar position. Like they play a cohesive position. You know what I'm saying? So it's the difference between a complimentary visit and a competitive visit. So if you got a complimentary visit, that means like you're sending like a quarterback and a wide receiver, right? That's a complimentary visit. You're sending a guard and a center, which is a complimentary visit. If both of these guys were guards, that would be a competitive visit, and the little bar, little green triangle here would be pointed down, and it would be red as a competitive visit. Meaning you're gaining less influence for that because, oh, you're telling this player like, hey man, we got options, right? We got other guards coming in, you know what I'm saying? But in this case, because one is a center and one is a guard, it's a complimentary visit. So, boom, we're going to spend the 40 hours here, which I usually don't like to, but in this scenario, just to show you guys exactly how I try to maximize my visits when I do them, Coach Prestige is his deal breaker, and it's an A-. So, we could probably go with one-on-one coaching here. The other guy, he's coming in for brand exposure, so he's going to be doing a podcast interview. This guy's motivations are academic prestige, which is crazy. He could come in and attend a lecture. That's fucking wild. Academic prestige, coach prestige, and proximity to home, which is it's a pretty odd trio of interests, right? In my opinion, you just don't see academic prestige up there that much. But luckily, we're at Notre Dame. We've got a pretty prestigious academic program. So, in here, we could do his deal breaker, which is Coach Prestige, which is one-on-one coaching. But considering how Buddy, really lacks academic prestige, and that's our highest rating, we're gonna go ahead and have this guy attend the lecture, right? So, and there you go. We like I said, we had the hard sell on him already. We got 2 A's and an A-, which isn't the greatest, but as you can see right here, under that, we got the pitch results, student of the game. We're still gaining 6 interest bars for only 40 points, for only 40 hours. Let's say that. Because as you know, when you send the house, you're spending 50 hours and you're only getting 5 points. So you're spending 10 less hours and gaining 1 more interest point. You're following along? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's going to be a little bit of a longer video. It's kind of hard to explain all of this shit in one thing, but there's that, right? Let's see here. Who else do we have on the board? I'm pretty confident in most of the rest of my recruiting class here. I don't think anybody's catching me in any of the recruits that I have. The only threat here is Florida State with that week 13 visit on this guy, in which, like I said, we have hours to blow right now on all of our 4-stars, and this guy is a priority for our team. He's a 4-star. He's a 47th ranked player, a top 10 quarterback in his class. We want to secure this quarterback, right? So right now we have 2 visits set up for week 14? Hopefully it's week 14. Because as you can see, Florida State has got this guy set up for a week 13 visit, right? Now, for most of the season, I felt really, really confident in this guy that he would sign with us before Florida State ever caught up with us. But right now, depending on how well Florida State's week 13 visit goes, I don't want to lose this recruit to a CPU team this late in the season. So we're going to try to go ahead and secure this guy by any means necessary. We're going to do the same exact thing we did for Randy Nunn, which is try to map out, and we can't get him for a week 13 visit. That's tough. Well, we might just lose Marquis Gann. Probably not, but he's gonna sign. He's gonna sign in 1 to 2 advances. It's likely 2, but if Florida State kills it on that week 13 visit, we're kind of screwed because there's obviously nothing else we can do unless he doesn't. Unless Florida State has a bum visit, like like a competitive visit, or they just didn't hit all 3 of his interests, it's gonna be kind of tough to catch him, bro. But in any case, we'll try to move on with that. But hopefully we'll get Buddy. Everybody else here is pretty much locked. I would say that this guy he's definitely signing next advance. Texas is giving us their best shot in week 12. They're not catching us. They're not catching that entire bar before we can close it out. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much good. He's signing that advance. Monty Garland, we got him coming in for a visit week 13, which is 1 week before our most competitive school here, Purdue. Feel good about that. We also got a tier 3 pipeline, and Purdue has a tier 2 pipeline on this guy, so confident in that. Maryland has a week 15 visit on Monty Garland, and Monty Garland is going to be gone before week 14, bro. He might sign when he visits us next week. Right here, this is another guy we're going to put a visit on, Siaki Beaver. He's got a visit with Texas Tech in week 12. Now this is one of those things where it's like, do I spend my 40 hours to get this guy? What it really boils down to is if we can get another complimentary visit on with his visit, because we got 2 visits left for this week. You can only get 4 visits per week, right? You can only get 4 visits per week. So it's good that I didn't have that I couldn't put that quarterback on a visit, because I need to focus on this guy. He's a 4-star gem, 14th ranked defensive tackle, top 200 player in the country. Right now we can get him, and we're also looking at getting this guy. I wish I would have had a week 13 available for him, but we did it on week 12, which is going to be this week. That's this advance. And with this advance, let me see, do I have his hard sell on yet? I do not. Athletic facilities, brand exposure. Oh, we already know what his hard sell is. We just did it, right? So we already know if we go here and we get his hard sell on, boom. If we go down here, that's the only pitch that has athletic facilities and brand exposure as the perfect pitch. Now, like, we know that because, like, you can see the green check right here, athletic facilities is a green check. And if we go to overview, his bottom right side of the screen, you got his deal breaker, which is brand exposure. That's always one of his green interest bars. So it just, like we already did this with the other guy, the guard. So we can just go through and look at it. We're looking for athletic facilities and brand exposure. So we can just go through here just to verify 100% confirm that none of these other pitches have athletic facilities and brand exposure at the same time. It's only this one, which is workhorse, right? So boom, boom, boom. We already seen it. We already know what it is. That's our perfect pitch. Bam. Let's put that on this guy, right? So we only have 60 hours to use with him. So we're going to have to, we can't max it out with another like 25, which is unfortunate. So we're going to have to get 55 on him, right? As a matter of fact, that's another thing that you could do to maximize the hours. Let me see something. Hold up. So, and this is another like raw deal here, right? We can do a hard sell and a soft sell. We can do a hard sell and a soft sell. Now we just have to, we got to go with at least 2 of the green interest bars. So we know we got athletic facilities, brand exposure, and pro potential. We're not going to get athletic facilities and brand exposure together. So we're looking for either athletic facilities and pro potential or brand exposure and pro potential in the same thing. So we'll just go through here. Looking for pro potential and brand exposure. So boom, starter. We could go with this right here because it's an A+ for pro potential, which is one of his interests. It's an A for brand exposure. But even though he's not interested in playing time, we can still gain interest from this partial pitch, right? It's a broken pitch, but we're still going to gain a lot of influence from that, right? So we're going to gain about 6 from the hard sell. We're going to gain about 4 from the soft sell. So we've maximized our 60 hours here, right? So we're back at our base of 60 hours. We don't have to go in and have 55, because our job here is to catch and exceed both LSU and Oregon. Now, if you look at the bar that we're gaining on this guy, again, we're Notre Dame. We're number 4 on this guy's list. The interest bar that we're gaining is double what Oregon is gaining. Oregon probably set it and forget it on this guy and have been in the lead the entire season, which I had took James Elam off my board because when he was in top 8 stage, Oregon's bar was way ahead of everybody. But later on in the season, I'm noticing that, like, hey man, they not really putting their foot on the gas on this guy. Let me see if I can come back, loop around, and pick up this recruit. So we put him back on our board last advance. We sent the full 60 hours. Tried to learn more about him with the send the house and the DM the player. We learned one of his green bars. We see his deal breakers, brand exposure. Now we got the hard sell. Now we got the soft sell, and we can also get this guy on a. Well, he's already on a visit. We already scheduled his visit, so he's coming on a visit this week, which is our bye week, which is unfortunate, but you know we'll still gain some influence there. So boom, there's James Elam. That's a couple players that we're going to be making some moves with. We do have to get this guy on a complimentary visit. Let's see if we can get another defensive player in here soon. I do like this guy, Zach Floyd. Really good size, power rusher. We got the hard sell on him already, which is great. We got 2 A's and an A+, gaining 6 influence bars there. DM the player, social media. So this is another one where we should possibly just do the hard sell and the soft sell at the same time, and gain, you know, those bars that way, right? But in any case, you know, like I said, good speed, good acceleration, good strength. Power move is low, but you know that'll improve with time. But the bones of this guy is great. And it looks like we're winning this. It's possible because it's week 12. We just like 13, 14. He could sign in week 15 if we're just going by his yellow bar at the top here. He could sign in week 15, which is a week before his visit at Louisville. And Louisville is not gaining anywhere near as much influence as we are, so they're kind of screwed. So I don't need a visit on this guy, right? Now, sucks that we already got. It doesn't suck that we got to commit already. Like, he's a 56 overall player, top 5 interior D line. But it sucks that I can't get a complimentary visit for Weaver, man. It does, because I don't think I have anybody else that's available to come in for a visit on the defensive side of the ball. I think we got everybody locked up. Yeah, we do. All right, well, the last thing we can do is get this guy scheduled for a week 13 visit. But I feel like he's gonna sign before then, bro. Like we're gaining almost the same amount of XP per week. This guy might be a wash, to be honest. We might have lost this recruit, and that's a hard thing to come to grips with. But oh no, hold up, we might have a way in because we know his hard sell. We for sure know his hard sell is workhorse and not starter. See, and this is one of those ones, like, we knew we were in a battle, so we were trying to maximize the points here. So like I said, even though you're sending a hard sell and a soft sell, you're still gaining a ton of experience. Like right here, our soft sell counted for 5 influence bars on this guy, and our broken up hard sell, which isn't his ideal pitch, counted for 7. So if we flip those, if we hard sell workhorse and soft sell starter, which is exactly what we're going to do, hard sell workhorse, which is here, we're going to soft sell starter, which is here, boom, and then we're going to bring him in for a week 13 visit. Gotta schedule it, man. Deal breaker is pro potential. You're not gonna go pro going to anywhere else other than goddamn Notre Dame, brother. Definitely ain't Texas Tech. I mean, if you're good, they'll find you, but damn. Bring your ass on the North Bend, my boy. Bring your ass on the North Bend. Now, with that said, I wish I had a ruler right now, because I feel like the bar that I'm getting is a little bit bigger. Let me just double check this. Yeah, the bar we're getting is a little bit bigger than old Texas Tech here. And with this visit and this new rotation of hard sell and soft sell, I feel like it's going to be a lot closer than what it is right now after this advance. And if he does not commit in this week 12, it's likely that we can get a commit in week 13, because once he's on our campus for this visit, man, I feel like we can get buddy. I feel like that little sliver, that little quarter inch of influence that they have ahead of us, we can take that away. We can take that away with that visit, because I know our visit is an A+. It's an A+. His deal breaker is pro potential, which we have an A+ in. I don't think Texas Tech has a A+ in pro potential, right? I don't think Texas Tech is sending a hard sell and a soft sell to him. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think they are. So we're going to get, what is that, a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to get 12 bars from that. Man, I feel good. I feel good about Siaki Beaver. I do. Feel good about Siaki Beaver. Now, I know this kind of seems wasteful. This kind of seems wasteful. It's wasting 40 hours for sure, but we're gonna do it anyways. We're gonna set this guy up on a visit. It's gonna be a complimentary visit, and this is what I mean about crashing out. We're literally crashing out to get Beaver, and I feel like Beaver's worth it because he's a 4-star gem, which means he's likely star dev, elite dev, and if you look at his ratings here, man, can't go wrong with it. 80 speed, 83 excel, 91 strength, 85 finesse move, 85 tackle. 1, 2, 3 ratings above 85. Yeah. We gonna need him to come on the North Bend, bro. We gonna need him to come on the North Bend, man. That 67 hit power, that ain't shit. I mean, how many D tackles are forcing fumbles anyways, right? On hit sticks, anyways. So we're going to crash out for it, man. We're going to crash out for it. Go ahead and send Zach Floyd, who we also want to secure as well. And this visit is just going to knock it out the park. Louisville has no chance. If we can get Buddy in here for a week 13 visit, and there's a schedule for week 16, they can kick rocks. Playing style is a deal breaker. I don't like using play style as a deal breaker for a visit, because play style changes. It fluctuates all over the place. So that's never a good idea. Our playstyle could change between now and week 13 when he comes on a visit, which is next week. So we're going to go ahead and rock this pro potential meet alumni, which is an A+ rating for us. That's not changing. So boom, there it is. And if you look at the visit, he has a complimentary visit with defensive tackle Siaki Beaver. We spent 80 fucking points. We spent 80 hours to get that complimentary visit. But what that is going to do is it's going to help our guy Siaki Beaver commit to this school, man, because we need it. We need every bit of influence that we could possibly get over Texas Tech, and I just showed y'all how to crash out for it. We flipped his hard sell and soft sell to the ideal pitch being a hard sell, secondary pitch his broken pitch being a soft sell. We scheduled him for a visit. We got an A+ rating in that visit. We got a complimentary visit because he's coming in on the same week as Mr. Zach Floyd here. So we got 2 offensive linemen coming in, and we got 2 defensive linemen coming in. We got the big uglies coming in for visits in week 13, man. I feel good about it. I'm going to go ahead and end the video there because I feel like I've been talking forever. I feel like this is a long-ass video. And, yeah, man, we'll see you in the next one, bro.